A master narcissist, H.G. Tudor, says, narcissistic mission. Spiritual oppression. We are a form of oppression. This is because we must control everything around us. This is initially undertaken through the artifice of our seductive personae. This is easy enough to do with a passing tertiary source who can be seduced with a smile and a compliment into providing us with a dollop of positive fuel. There is little effort required and the fuel is obtained, and then the tertiary source has no doubt moved outside of our sphere of influence as we carry on with what we are doing or where we are heading. The secondary sources also find themselves given the grace of the seductive side, and they receive it on an infrequent basis, since that is of relative ease for us to keep in place. We see the value provided by these secondary sources in terms of fuel, the provision of character traits and residual benefits. We are not with these secondary sources on a sustained daily basis, and therefore the golden period can easily be maintained and kept in place for a very long time. The primary source is the recipient of our most glorious form of seduction and the brightest of golden periods, and it is a worthy investment for what we take in return, most precious of which is the fuel that this empathic individual furnishes us with. Yet maintaining this golden period requires effort, and this must be fueled by your positive responses, and also the negative fuel we will be garnering from the devaluing of the outgoing appliance and thereafter the repeated malign hoovers against this discarded source. It is then that the oppressive regime is revealed. The silk curtains are torn down, the soft and atmospheric lighting gives way to harsh and intrusive strip lighting, the pleasant soothing tones are replaced by the harsh bark of orders and then dictating blare of klaxons. The cuddly toy becomes a foaming and barking attack dog, straining at its leash as you are corralled down a particular path to a destination unknown by you. The loving looks are now glares of hatred, prejudice and loathing. Flowers wilt, and instead the barbed wire bouquet is all you can hope to receive. Searchlights shine in your face, blinding you. Whereas you were once pleasantly mesmerized by the bright and the shiny, now you are dazzled into compliance. Horns, whistles and wailing alarms all signal some sudden response that is required of you, although nobody has seen fit to tell you the rules. Yes become no. Consent is withdrawn. Approval is not given. Access becomes prohibition. Once you roamed freely about our shared accommodation, but now you find that the study is our bolt-hole bunker, our side of the marital bed is a no-go zone, and the spare room becomes a place of retreat for you when a banishment order is issued against you. You are expected to be in a certain place at a certain time, although you are never given any indication of advance warning about this. You are forbidden to speak with others about our regime. After all loose lips tighten grips. A fortress is erected around you as you kept in one place, only allowed to go to the place that we decree, and invariably under our watchful accompanying eye. Curfews are imposed and woe betide you if there is any transgression of the terms. Do this, do not do that, be here, stand there, say this, say nothing. A litany of lies are rained down on you as our propaganda machine goes into overdrive. Why is it that the harsh and savage bark of our instructions becomes pleasant and endearing tones to all save you? You have witnessed this sudden change on so many occasions. You find yourself on the receiving end of the verbal stun gun, the scathing comments battering you, and then the phone rings and the propaganda machine appears as we are polite, charming and pleasant to whoever has called. Once the call ends, the icy look returns and the spotlight of scapegoating is played on you once more as the oppression continues. Day after day this regime plays out its needs against you, wearing you down, grinding you into the ground, sapping your resolve and leeching your resources from you. This regime appropriates whatever it requires for its greater glory. All assets must be relinquished to the United States of Narcadia. You belong to the state. You are there to serve it, and the only way we know is to oppress you when the devaluation commences. Even the sought-after respite periods which come during the devaluation are the propaganda machine being wheeled out, but this time for your benefit, as you are told that all of the difficult times are now over and a golden era of prosperity is being ushered in. Yes, it hurt, but yes, it worked. The totalitarian regime which controlled everything you did, everywhere you went, and even controlled the way you thought was necessary to bring about this golden dawn. Of course it is false, and you, in your weakened and desperate state, invariably and understandably fall for it. All this respite period does is allow you a period to provide us with positive fuel again so that the oppression can commence and the contrast be exacerbated to our benefit and your detriment. We deem this oppression necessary and worthwhile, and it is you that pays the price in order to allow us to continue to maintain our grip on you and extract from you the potent negative fuel. You have no rights in this regime, you are there to fulfill the requirements of our regime, and with the primary source in particular we regard the instigation of oppression as the key method by which to achieve what we need. Even when you are callously cast aside, the oppression will not stop as the propaganda machine is cranked up and into action to churn out the lies about you to all those who lap up our fallacies. The loudspeakers blare out our twisted version of events, drowning out your dissenting voice. Our lieutenants will hand out the pamphlets decrying your behavior, labeling you the mentalist traitor, the drunken proponent of sedition, the drug-abusing subversive. The propaganda smear is extensive and devastating. Just as in the book 1984 we rewrite history, deny events ever took place, invent new ones and shape what has happened to fit with what we want the world to know, because as victor, we gain that right to rewrite history. You are banished, exiled and assigned the mantle of persona non grata to all of our loyal underlings and supporter. Thus the oppression continues, and should you fight back against it, you will feel the vented fury of the malign follow-up Hoover as the boot of oppression stamps down on your head once more. We are a form of oppression because we have seen how this works for us. We know that the hate, the envy, the malice and the venomous jealousy can all be channeled into maintaining this oppression. We harness the oblivious praise of the coterie, the mindless worship of our lieutenants and the blinded adoration of the prospective replacement for you, to fuel the continuance of our oppression against you. There is much energy gathered and utilized against you in order to impose control, maintain superiority and harvest the potent negative fuel from you. This is what the oppression seeks to achieve. There is however one further factor which drives the heightened aggressiveness of us as a form of oppression. The concern that an oppressive regime can be toppled,